And everybody, welcome to the Arkansas Diamond Report with Dudley Dawson. I'm Jason Pattison. Thank you all for joining us this morning. It is Friday the 13th. I kind of have good days on Friday the 13th. What about you, Dudley?
Yeah, in fact, I wear shirts that have the number 13 on them a lot. I'm not scared of no black cat.
You meet that stuff head on, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. You know how I embrace chaos.
Hey, if it's not chaos, don't include me in it sometimes, man. I'm telling you. Um, yeah, I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. I know I hadn't quite got the link out as fast as I wanted to. I had to actually take care of some stuff. My dog, Dudley, Max, the sound producer, had to go in for a procedure this morning. He has a pretty nasty ear infection we've been trying to get a hold of, and got a new vet, and she's done great things so far. But they had to go in and find out and see if he has any tumors in his ear because it's just not healing up. So,
Well, hope does better. It's doing better.
um, yeah, I'm hoping so too. And thank you, appreciate that. I'll be seeing you a little bit later this afternoon too, as well. So I want to talk about high school football, kind of starting off with a little bit. I want to kind of change things up a little bit today. Congratulations to was it Bryant that they beat Bentonville last
Yeah,
week?
luckily Bryant was able to get a title. 6 of the last 7 they weren't able to win last year. Obviously, Fayetteville pulled that out, and Bentonville actually knocked Bryant out last year. Bryant got their revenge this year and won the game. And there've been 5 really good championship games so far. 2 coming up this weekend. Put up a story on one of them, about to put up a story on the other one. Really, you have to congratulate these kids. They've played a lot of football to get to this point, and had a lot of success. And now you come down to one game for it all.
Yep. And watch the Shiloh game. That was a really good game too last week. You could tell how evenly matched they were. I honestly thought that Kane Archer would come out and just kind of blow the doors off with his arm. It was more of his legs.
Yeah, and I think that's something he doesn't get enough credit for. He's an all-around quarterback. Obviously Greenwood is a machine. Has been for a while. It's a deal where they get these kids in the third and fourth grade and start installing the system, and and it just continues. Great culture down there. Obviously, thoughts and prayers continue to be with them over the Isaiah Arrington tragedy. But there was a lot of dedication to him, and they finished it off, and that is to their credit for being able to race through the season undefeated.
This is the last weekend for Arkansas High School Championship football. What do we have on tap for this weekend?
Well, you've got Bismarck and Salem playing in Saturday night's game. That's for the 2A championship, and the 3A championship. You have I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. Let's see, Bismarck and Salem, and then the 3A championship is.
I'm looking that up too right now.
Here, I've got it right here. I just wrote a story about it, but drawing a blank here on Friday morning. Obviously, here, let me just look at my stories real quick. It says
Fordyce and Bismarck.
Salem and Bismarck play. It's Arkadelphia and Elkins. Elkins has had a tremendous year. Arkadelphia was 1-2 at one point. Has won their last 11. Obviously, Elkins has gone throughout the season undefeated. Just had a brain freeze there for a minute. But yeah, those are the 2 games left this weekend: noon and 6:30 on Saturday at the War Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, that's going to be good. I was kind of happy to see the Elkins finally broke through to a state championship, because last couple of years they've been great. They've had, if I'm not mistaken, they've got an ex-Razorback on that staff too as well.
Drew Morgan, yes, used to. I'm not sure he still is, but I know he used to be. It is, you're right. They have been knocking on the door. Finally got through it this year. And I asked Zach Watson about that. He said that they knew there was a chance coming in. And both of those teams, Elkin and Arkadelphia, a lot of their offensive and defensive line, which is an old Newport player under Bill Kitty. Bill Kitty warms my heart. Getting it done in the trenches. So that's going to be a fierce battle on Saturday. Looking forward to watching that one in Pennsylvania, where we'll be frolicking with the grandson this weekend.
Ooh, that sounds like fun, my friend. Getting some holiday snuggles with the new grandkid. Yeah, he's just a little over a year old. Is that correct?
He's 9 months old. Born in February, so he's coming up on 10. But it's going to be exciting to see him again. He's moving, and I'm loving it because it's just wearing his dad and mom out.
And you know what? That's what's so great about being a grandparent too, is that you get the best part of all of it. You get the snuggles, you get to have fun, and then whenever they get cranky, they're yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoy my our son Brooks talking about how he's trying to stretch his bedtime or push his feeding time, and I'm like, paying for your raisin, boy, paying for your raisin.
I can confirm that Drew Morgan is still on staff at Elkins.
Good deal.
So if I'm not mistaken, is there a player at Salem that is committed to Arkansas that will be playing in the state championship this weekend?
I don't think so. Now, if it is, they didn't mention it. But obviously, you've got a lot of really good players that are on all four of these teams to get to this point. But I think it's a matter of all four of these teams and talking to their coaches this week. It's been a team thing. Elkins, by the way, scored 16 points on special teams, and you don't hear too often high school coaches raving about their special teams, but that has been a force for Elkins this year. In fact, Arkadelphia's head coach Trey Shooker talked about how Elkins their defense is never in a bad position because of their special teams, because of the way their offense is played so well. They were always on the plus side of the field, and that's made Elkins hard to beat. They've got a great program out there, and as you said, finally busted through this year, and we'll get the opportunity Saturday to claim a crown.
Yep. I was looking on here. No, there was no commit from Salem this year to the 25 class. I was looking on here to see if there was, but there is not. So I know Otis has been working his tail off trying to get this whole portal thing straightened out a little bit as far as who's coming in this weekend. There's I do believe it. I think Sam said we were talking about this last night. There were 7 that were coming in this weekend.
Yeah, and 29 overall that get scheduled for visits between now and the end of the month, which is the end of this first portal period. I think as we were mentioning last night, it's tough to see all these guys go out the door. Mm-hmm. But as I mentioned, I don't know that you should be overly upset that kids from a 6-6 team are going out.
Yep.
Now if they swap them out, bring in kids, and they go less than 6-6, which is a possibility because of the schedule you've got. Then you can be upset. But it's, here we go into another narrative. This month is going to be really big for the program. They've gotten, a few commitments already, and we're hoping to have at least 15, is my understanding, of the 29 here. They're hoping to have somewhere between 18 high school kids and then some 20 plus portal guys in here to go through spring practice. So at least they're going to get the opportunity to work with next year's team early on.
So basically they're subtracting up to possibly 25 guys, but they're bringing in 2 different classes, a high school class and a portal class.
Yeah, and you could say it's there's a third class that would be available. Kids who are falling through the cracks could come through, could be high school guys that they sign in February. They've done that before. That's that is kind of passe these days, the February signing period, because everybody gets in there early and the portal is a big thing. But I guess you figure up how much money you have left in your payroll in February on whether you can add anybody else. I can't believe I'm saying that, but that's how life is now in college athletics.
That is true. It's so it's amazing how fast things have turned for not only the coaching staff, which we talked about last night, where they were behind in both NIL and portal. And now fans are having to make that drastic change as well, because they're not used to it. We weren't used to it. And we've had to kind of realign our eyes on how to view the program, that it may not be such a dumpster fire as some folks have said. It's just having to basically catch up with the times, because it's changed. Everything's changed. It's not going back. You just have to keep moving forward.
As I've said, also, I think the messaging that Arkansas's had hasn't been the best, in terms of talking about this. Now, obviously, part of that had to do with Coach Pittman having his surgery. Sounds like he's doing good from that, and we'll be able to throw the walker away and next week at some point, and be able to get out there and coach in full throttle. But it is, we're at a point now to where kids are sending out, or their agents or their lawyers are sending out posts on X that say such and such has reached a new deal in college. And I'm just, at the tail end of a mediocre career, I'm glad I'm going to be getting out for any more of this gets on me.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm just starting to get my feet wet in this thing. So I guess maybe it's better to jump in now as it's starting to, take hold than be in the middle of my career on this. But I felt like Sam kind of won the press conference yesterday. He was very relaxed. He was very chill with the way that he was able to convey their message as far as what their plan was. I felt like he was more comfortable now than he has been in a while, just from the simple fact that they finally had a plan that they were able to execute. And now fans are just having to kind of go along with what he's, conveying to them. But from the media standpoint, I felt like this is probably the most comfortable I've seen him in probably a few weeks.
Well, I definitely agree with what you're saying there for the most part. Again, some of the quotes, it's one of those situations, I think, that if you're hell bent on getting a coaching change and being out of here, there's nothing he could have said yesterday other than, guess what? Oregon's entire football team is transferring here. That would have made you, excited that the same staff and all that's going to be around. And then there's another camp, obviously, that, was thrilled to hear what he was saying, maybe over too much. Somewhere it's landing somewhere in the middle, but there's already hard and fast and set camps on what, how they feel. And they're not going to change their minds.
No, they're not. They're not. So let's turn the page really quick. You said there was a press conference this morning with Coach Neighbors.
Yeah, 9:30 this morning. Obviously got Texas Tech coming up on Sunday here at 2:00. He and I were waxing nostalgic about the Southwest Conference. So a lot of the younger writers and certainly players on his team have no idea what that is. That was, the old league that Arkansas was in. But, I always look forward to these matchups. Again, as I said, I'll be in Pennsylvania this weekend, so I won't get a chance to watch it live, but I'm sure I'll see it on the TV. But Texas Tech, a really good team. Arkansas is on an uptick right now. They could very easily be 4-7 instead of 6-5. That seems maybe like a minor deal, but when you're in a situation, you got to have as many wins as you can, and you need to have some confidence builders. Nothing does that for you like a 40-1 run, against Southeast Missouri State. Now, Southeast Missouri State is not a tremendous team, but they're a great shooting team. And when you can hold a team like that to 1 point in what seemed to me like an hour and a half, that was their best stretch of the season. Got to continue to do that. They're getting healthier. And obviously, the biggest thing coming on Sunday is Phoenix Duitsland from Haarlem, the Netherlands, will be eligible. We'll get our first chance. It sounded like first, at the Catfish Show when Coach had his a little get together with the fans and the media that she was going to play like 30 minutes right away to throw her to the Wolves. Now he's kind of decided he's going to ease her in a little bit, maybe bring her off the bench, but she'll give the opportunity for Izzy not to have to handle the ball so much. It'll give them another scorer. They don't want to throw too much on her, but at the same time, they know that she could be a force for this basketball team, which has its deficiencies. Rebounding, maybe not getting enough points in the paint, although Vera Junu has done a much better job, and Jen Lawrence has done a really good job in whatever role she's been put in. So I guess if you were a Razorback fan, you hope they continue to get better. In a season that once they flip the calendar, and it goes to 2025, the games are just going to get tougher because the SEC Women's League is flexing just like the SEC Men's Basketball League.
They are, and that's whenever first part of conference season starts, it's really nice to have that recall where you have that 40-1 run, or you have some of these, a comeback win against do you believe was it Euler a couple weeks ago. You have those moments where if it's not going your way and things are starting to go downhill a little bit, you have some of those moments where you can pull back and say, hey, you know what? This is what we did, and this is what we were doing right whenever this happened. Having that recall really helps whenever you're starting to hit more of a valley, because if you have nothing but, just bad runs, I mean, it really starts to snowball whenever you have those positive spots where you can pull back a little bit and say, hey, this is what we were able to do here. Coach Neighbors is able to help kind of reframe that mindset to maybe turn a 10-1 run backwards on a team that they might not have a great shot against, to put them back into the game. And those are the sort of things that he needs to, be able to hold on to. And not only that, but like you said, stack those wins going into conference season, because it's tough.
Yeah. And there may not be very wins available in SEC play, but we'll see. I think anytime, no matter whether it's sports, business, marriage, life in general, the more you experience success, the less you experience acrimony, and all of that. It makes your day better. That they didn't come up with happy wife, happy life just because it rhymes and all that. It's a situation where everybody wants to feel better about themselves. And yes, 6-5 is not the record. It's not the standard you want for this basketball team right now, but it's better than what it could have been, and at times what I thought it would be from the way they were playing early on. They met the two challenges last week, succeeded, had the opportunity to have that good feeling about themselves between now and during the finals and stuff. So now they have an opportunity to at least have a good mindset going in there. I'm not going to sit here and say they're about to go on a run in the SEC race. I don't think that if they are able to get to the NCAA tournament, I will be surprised at this point. And that's just because of the inexperience that they have, and really the lack of height. I think the depth's coming along, and really the lack of experience. But I have better thoughts about them this week than I did last week at this time.
With a player you mentioned that's going to be joining the team this week, I forgot her name off the top of my head. Sorry about that. Yes. Is this going to be kind of like a Joe Johnson type thing where you just start, she comes off the bench at first, but you have no choice other than to put her on the floor because she's just that good?
Well, he talked about that a little bit this morning. Whether it's the NBA, college, or whatever now, there's a lot of importance to a second unit. Being able to come in, and when you're trying to rest your starters, being able to have a scoring force out there, being able to not let the other team get on a run while your supposed best players are getting a break. He's trying to balance whether he wants to have her there as, and let Izzy get some rest, play her and Izzy at times together. Obviously that will happen. But I think he's just going to kind of feel it out as he goes along. It is as he mentioned this morning, it is an easy decision to say, go in there and go play 35 minutes and see how it plays out. But he doesn't want to upset the rocker in terms of rotations and too much from what he's had this last couple of weeks that have been doing well. So he's going to try to basically gauge it as he goes. And, I think it's one of those situations if she's sitting on the bench and that team goes on a 10-0 run, he's going to send her in there. If his team is going on a 10-0 run, he's going to hold her until he needs to.
Gotcha. Yeah. Again, Sunday, I do believe.
Sunday at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. And where can fans catch the Lady Razorbacks this weekend? Is it on just ESPN Plus streaming?
A plus, ESPN Plus, SEC Plus, Hulu Plus. Yeah, the plus this week. Now, a lot of these games, as they start playing SEC conference opponents, will be on the main SEC channel. But yes, they get a lot of plus time. As do the men from that point. They got the annual Central Arkansas game. They had normally, and I got to be honest, I haven't even looked this weekend. Is that one televised over?
No,
or the annual radio game?
I think it's just going to be the radio game again. Let me double check on that too. But I think it's going to be a radio game again. And I was listening to, as they call it, state sports show, regulated state sports show. They were talking a little bit about that, and that was going to be on double check here. SEC Plus, you can watch it. Simmons Bank Arena is.
That's good. I enjoy listening to the radio. Obviously, Coach Zim, or Little Z, as I'm calling him now, since they have a big Z, is one of my best friends, and I enjoy listening to him and Chuck.
Yeah, he's great.
Bill Elson when he's doing the women's, but good to know that that'll be available, and that if we want to while in Pennsylvania, I think that Arthur's bedtime will have been stretched and pushed, and all those words that our son uses now to get a chance to watch that. And it's Eastern time up there.
It'll be 4 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. I that's a game I actually look forward to play. UCA has a lot of kids that I saw play, in high school, growing up. The young man from Lake Hamilton, obviously Taylor from Farmington is a great shooter. Looking forward to kind of seeing them go against Arkansas. Arkansas better be ready to play. These are not kids that were ranked anywhere near the kids that Arkansas is going to have on the floor, but they are gamers, ballers, all that.
This is their Super Bowl, really.
They put the ball in the basket, and as we know, and do it well from the outside, as we know, it's not Arkansas's really strength outside shooting at this point. Is Joseph Pinion, I think, just knocked down another three-pointer against Memphis for Arkansas State.
That was great to see them get a win. And
I love that kid. Love to see him have success. Wherever he's at. And, there's a lot of people who maybe forgot about him for a moment there, and he announced himself back on the stage last Sunday. And it's always interesting. Arkansas State goes over and wipes, really just routed Memphis from the word go. A Memphis team that's beaten UConn and others. And then comes back and struggles last night with Texas Arlington. But it's a measure of when you can get up, how you can get up, and how you play that night. And they were knocking down shots against Memphis the other day.
Man, Brian Hodgson, he's sitting over there. He's just open arms saying, hey, come play for us. We'll treat you good. And they're playing a great schedule. Whenever you're able to go and take a game from Memphis the way that they did and have an Arkansas kid perform like the way Joseph did, it really is nice. Don't get me wrong. Arkansas still is the premier flagship school here in the state. But whenever you have Arkansas State also performing well with Arkansas kids that you kind of have some personal ties to, you can't help but not root for the guys.
Yeah, listen, I grew up in the northeast part of the state. I say Newport, that's where I went to high school, but grew up in a farming community named Boss, which was much closer to Jonesboro than it was to Fayetteville. I went far more Arkansas State games and AIC games, UCA, Harding, Henderson. At one point, Charles Valentine and I were both going to go to Harding, and he's going to play basketball there. I was going to play basketball and football, but fortunately for us, Eddie Sutton came in and decided that he needed Charles, and away we went to Fayetteville. But I have great affinity for those schools. It's not a hate situation with me. I love to see them play.
Mm-hmm.
I realize why Coach Broyles had the playing situation, didn't want to play him as he grew his program and all that. But I look forward to those games, and having grown up watching Arkansas players, I love to see as many Arkansas players as I can succeed in as many different places and roles as they can. I'm not a hater, unless you're, I don't know, a Cubs fan or Philadelphia Eagles or Lakers, something like that. But I think it's good for the state. And I will always, why I didn't graduate from the University of Arkansas, why I was once employed by the University of Arkansas with the basketball program, I'm a fan of the state of Arkansas and the people and kids of the state of Arkansas. I want to see them all do well. And I like to see them go against each other. And don't be scared. Don't be scared.
I want to talk a little bit before we head out this morning. Some of the coaching carousel changes that have happened over the landscape of college football over the last, I'd say week or so. You've seen Rich Rodriguez get a resurgence at West Virginia second time around.
Return of the Mac.
Exactly, it is, man. I'm telling you, and because you saw Bobby, he returned back to Louisville. That didn't quite go the way he expected it. I don't know if that's going to happen the same way with West Virginia and Rich Rod. Now, whenever he was there, he had great athletes. He was able to capitalize on some smaller athletes that were able to perform at a high level. I really think that he's going to try to get back into that area again. And this time around, West Virginia has a chance to go to a CFP.
Yeah, with 12 teams, certainly that is a program that is well supported. He did well when he was there the first time. You could make a case that he should have just stayed there. Yeah. Maybe he thinks that now. We'll see, but he's returned. It's a whole different playing field in college football from when he was there the first time. NIL and portal were not things that were available or you had to deal with the first time. It'll be interesting to see how he handles that, but obviously he had good thoughts in going back there.
Yep.
And hey, how about Barry Odom making the UNLV job a destination place now?
Not only did it, UNLV didn't have to have any reason to make it any sexier really than it is, because they have a great stadium, great facilities that they are able to practice and play in there in Las Vegas. Then you add Dan Mullen to the mix. I see this kind of like a Mississippi State Part 2 for him, because he's got great facilities. He got better facilities than he did whenever he was at Mississippi State. And now he's able to capitalize on what Barry has brought into the cupboard for him. I think this is a great situation for him.
Yeah. And, you can legally take recruits to the Strip.
Yeah.
The Las Vegas Strip and to these hotels and all this. And, hey, I don't know that they're taking them to see Wayne Newton, but I know you could take them to the Sphere and see the Eagles in January. So,
ooh, yeah, that would be freaking fun. Good Lord.
Not that anybody here wants to do that.
I might have to take you up. Hey, we can get some cheap flights from here on Allegiant, man. No.
Yeah,
no plug there,
but tickets cost far more than flights. So, but that is a tremendous thing they've got out there, though. It's all these other places, and Las Vegas certainly has had the landscape of the Strip and all that. But I think that gives them, similar to the Bass Pro Shops Pyramid now in Memphis, different things. I think it's a nice little landmark, and they use it well. We Patronite, sit around and watch TV all the time and see them take cinematic license and use CGI and all that. You're beginning to see that, get out of the movies and get into real life on basketball floors and different things. And now the Sphere, I suspect that, and that's the best thing James Dolan's done in a long time, the owner of the New York Knicks, get that Sphere thing going. I suspect we'll see some Spheres popping up, around the country.
Yeah, Yeah. And, Barry Odom to Purdue, that right there is going to be a labor of love for him because he's walking into a situation where the cupboard's bare. It really is. And what good players they do have been all but speared into the portal. And I don't, I really hope that they're able to give him 3 good years to get that thing turned around because
I need to take more than that, but with the portal, you have the opportunity to do it quicker. Obviously, uh, again, credit to Jackson Woodard and Jaden Catalan and some of the others that went out there, former Razorbacks that did really well. Jackson Woodard was named the defensive player of the year in that conference.
yeah,
I think he's a very good coach. And obviously, the turnaround I think the turnaround at Purdue will be a lot harder than the turnaround at Las Vegas, but I do think it's a possibility. And the one thing you won't have right off the bat is expectations and them expecting to get to the CFP right away. So he'll have the opportunity to build that thing the right way. And that being said, that's a tough league there to try to rise in, as people know around here about Arkansas and the SEC.
Yep. Last one before we get out of here. I want to be the fly on the wall that hears the first, third, maybe 10th call that Bill Belichick takes from a booster because they want him to do a certain thing with offer a guy a certain amount of money that's in the portal. I would love to hear the conversation that transpires with that because, again, that's something that he's never had to have to deal with before. He's had players and agents and coaches and all that sort of stuff in the NFL, but dealing with boosters is just different. And I just don't know how his approach to this is going to really mesh well. I know that he's had probably multiple conversations with Nick Saban. They're great friends. I just don't know how that's going to go for him because it's something that we would never have thought in a million years.
There's going to be a buffer. There's going to be a general manager or something in between him and those boosters. I guarantee you. He just wants to coach football. He's going to have to adapt to college. I understand that he's trying to sign this new quarterback that apparently has a couple of years eligibility left in Brady Tom. And hopes to get him on campus. But it's going to be a different deal. But he's a really good coach, obviously, and he'll surround himself with great people. That's what you do, and that's how you succeed, whether you're in college, pros, high school, whatever business. It is, it's again, an easier league to succeed in than some of the others. But, the man's got a 24-year-old girlfriend, so we know he can recruit.
He sure as hell can recruit. Man, I'm telling you. Also, what was so interesting, I was reading some of the contract details with Bill Belichick, is that the university has now boosted their NIL funds from $4 million to $20 million. As far as what he's able to work with in the portal and also with high school recruits. $30 million guaranteed. There's a $10 million buyout that he has to pay back if he takes another job before June 1st of next year, before he ever coaches a single game on campus. If he takes a job after June 1st, it's only $1 million. So basically they're protecting themselves if the NFL does come calling back and say, hey, you know what, we're going to offer you this, and this. The worst, he's still going to get $20 million out of this whole deal for showing up to a press conference, making it look good if he wants to bounce by June 1st.
How, again, things I never thought I'd say. How in the world can you expect to compete in a $4 million NIL budget?
I know.
Budget, that makes, that immediately makes me think about Arkansas. I don't know exactly how much they have. I've seen some estimates and stuff. Behind Ole Miss, above Kentucky, lower fourth of the SEC. I know Coach Pittman said yesterday he hadn't lost a kid because of money, but then he talked about how other schools value the harder, and he tried to say he doesn't want to throw all the money at one guy or a couple of guys. He wants to spread it out of good players. But until somebody wants to make Arkansas's NIL football program sufficient, then we're going to be in this same type of situation. Yes, they're going to have the NCAA money that comes along, because of this settlement, of this lawsuit, and all that. But it's going to take a Johnny Tyson. It's going to take somebody to step up in football. That person may want a new head coach. They may do that when a new head coach comes along. It's certainly what the situation is now. But this isn't a cash cow here. They're not destitute, but it's not a cash cow here in today's market. Today's college athletic market. You got to have money to be a big dog, and until somebody steps up and makes them a big dog, you're going to have to hope you can find the next Kirk Cignetti, the next Rhett Lashley, the next Jamie Chardwell, and that are having success out there that maybe you didn't expect that type of success. I'm never going to sit here and say Arkansas is going to make a college football playoff. Not going to make a college football playoff, but the odds of them getting in there right now have to be slim with what they have to compete with in today's landscape.
I almost compare Sam's situation to what happened with Mack Brown at North Carolina, because beforehand they were only giving Mack $4 million for NIL. That tells me that they were trying to, that was more of an intentional play than anything else. I know that Arkansas has got more NIL money than North Carolina has, but not now. Not now, but
it's one of those things that Arkansas is not going to be a major player until somebody in this state decides that they want to be a major player. That may take a coaching change. That's just, it's not me, calling for one or all that, but that's the way things work. The new coach, if there is a new coach here in a year, 5 years, whatever, he's going to ask for the world. And unless they give him the world, they're not going to get the coach they want.
Nope, definitely not. Well, Dudley, let's get you out of here on that point. And we got some stuff we got to take care of, do this afternoon. I'll see you a little bit later on today, and be attending the celebration of life for Bob Holt. And it's going to be a bittersweet day. There's going to be some great stories, great memories of a well-liked guy that it brightened everybody's world. I don't know any other way to put that, really. And it's sad, but it's going to be, I hope that it's able to lift some spirits today as well.
So we'll go into it with the downcast situation. I'm sure we'll come out of it with smiles, because we're going to tell stories about Bob. We're going to tell what a great guy he was. Very easy to do.
It is. Well, everybody, we'll be back next Friday, 10:30 in the morning. This has been the Arkansas Diamond Report with Dudley Dawson. We want to tell you all to take care. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Dudley, safe travels, and we will see you all next week.
Appreciate it.
Y'all, it's time for some damn good tacos in college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchy's Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchy's is the place. Torchy's location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchy's has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchy's has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs.